these torques are easy to get to, except for these three, because they are buried underneath here. So if you just pop the airbox out, and then you can change the air filter with it on the bench. This has not been changed in a while, I can tell. The oil smells really bad, and this oil filter is really old looking. Didn't do a bad job of that. Obviously there's 3 spark plugs, and these come out with it's like a pull. You've got to persuade it though, because the plastic can get really brittle. There you go. You don't want to force it. So after those looms have been disconnected, you've got 3 coil packs here on a 10mm bolt. And you've got to remove these. They can be quite stiff. That was okay. Oh. And I've also put them down in the order that I took them out, just in case it causes any problems when I put them back in. And to remove the spark plugs, it's the smaller one. There's 3 sizes with my tool set, and it's the smaller one. But because access is slightly limited there, I couldn't use the long extension because that was too long. So I've had to use the kind of the articulated one and hold it square, and it works fine. I've also laid the spark plugs down that came out of the same cylinders as the coil packs, just in case one of them was fouled or wet. I could maybe point at what other part was to blame. But all these look, you know, they look okay. They look like they've just lived. So what I do like about this engine, it's got this that can reveal the cam belt pulleys at the top. And look at that, you can expect the cam belt. This one looks okay. You know, it's not showing any excessive wear. There's no oil leaks in there. It looks relatively clean and tight, so that doesn't need changing. And these are the new spark plugs in comparison. They look very different. So meanwhile, I've just been letting the oil drip out to make sure it's all out. It's still a very slow drip, but I'm okay. It's always nice when you service a car and the oil filter and the sump plug can be drained in one. It's pretty irritating when you have to have a really wide bucket or you have to move the bucket a lot. This is, you know, dead simple to service, which means you can do it more often. All right, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 screws necessary to hold this in. Don't feel like it is. Oh yeah, that's pretty blacked up. This air intake is gross. It picks up hot air from the hot side of the engine, and it's got this kind of catch can, I guess, because there is a breather pipe going from the top of the engine there, and any specks of oil might dribble down into there, but really is a horrible looking thing. Okay. So again, I'm inspecting the belt, looking down there for oil leaks or any sign of wear. This belt looks okay. It would be nice if there was a mileage or a date, if a previous mechanic, you know, could have written something there. You know, sometimes they'd write it in pen, this was changed on this date, but there's nothing. You know, I'm probably gonna have to do it relatively soon. You know, it's sitting completely true on that pulley and it all looks good, but is it worth the risk? I don't know. Obviously, a service is an opportunity. Look at this tiny little throttle. It's like a motorbike. You know, a little bit black. The injectors, they all look dry. You know, there's a bit of dirt and leaves and stuff. And annoyingly, this has got this kind of anti-funnel device, which is going to be a bit harder to pour the fluid in. You know, the oil. Maybe I could put it in there. I don't know, let's see. The coolant light came on the other day, but it was ever so slightly low. I put about half a pint of water in it, it went off again. But I'm going to keep an eye on it. The you know, the fluid doesn't look great. A little bit cloudy, a bit weird. There is like dust and flies and stuff around the engine, but I don't really want to upset it while everything is open. I couldn't pour oil in there because again there's some type of ring device, and I can see the camshafts through there, which look clean. I found a medium length extension. A little bit easier than using that articulated kind of elbow thing. I don't know the torques to put these on, but I've done enough spark plugs in my life, I know. Yeah, not to swing off them. Working on these really small engines it reminds me of my old Vauxhall Nova days. The engine would just be the middle with loads of space around it, and every modern engine I've had that I've serviced, even the van there's just huge plastics and reservoirs everywhere. You can't actually get a feel for what the engine looks like. You get a really good chance here to look around, check all the sensors, nothing's cracked, you can see if there's any fluids leaked. This engine has impressed me actually, it's completely dry. When I went under it initially, there wasn't a single drip, there's no fluid. I thought they might be losing fluid somewhere, but maybe it's just ever so slightly low, you know, and I've caught that. It could do with a clean, but other than that, it looks really good. These coil packs back in, I'm just going to give them a little dash of GT85, so maybe they're not so difficult to get out next time. I know people on the internet have struggled and had to get like a pry bar underneath it that's wide enough to grab hold of it, you know, it was that bad. And now I'm going to tighten down those bolts. So they're all back on, they're all clicked back in. I undid a couple of these sensors just to check what they were like. Sometimes I've undone a sensor on an engine before and it's all wet inside because there's some type of leak. Put the engine breather back in, replace the air filter in that. Now that can go back on, but before that I have to fill this up with oil. It takes 3.4 litres. So I'm going to put 3 litres in and then go with the dipstick from there. I wish they could not have put that little plate in so you can just stick a funnel in. It's even making me have to pour it in slowly so it doesn't back up and come out the top. So I put 3 litres in and it's absolutely dead on the dipstick, so I'll put it together, run it for 20 seconds, turn it off, let it settle, and then do it again. Right, so I serviced that myself, and I've always serviced cars myself. And I think that's considered a major service with spark plugs. So that saved me a couple of £100, and all the service parts, including the cabin filter, actually, which I haven't done yet, I think it was like £80. And even if the person I buy a car off, because I just got this, tells me, oh, it's just been serviced, I will still do it anyway. I just don't see the point in risking it, really, because every car I've ever owned, I've changed the oil every 5,000 miles, and they just go on and on. And this is going to be no different. It's no spring chicken, it's done 90,000 miles. It's only a small little engine, but it actually feels, it's got no torque, but it's quite a nice little engine, it's quite smooth. So I'll do this every sort of 5,000 miles now. And the more you do it, the quicker you can do it. It takes like 20 minutes. Hopefully if you're thinking about servicing your own up, then this might have helped you. It was really easy, and it took exactly 3.4 litres of oil, by the way. So next time I'll just pour that straight in. I won't bother with the dipstick. I might go through the old oil to see what it looks like. I don't know. Thank you.